I think the one thing that I hope we will find by the end of this hearing is something that has not been discussed much publicly, which is that Senator Perata's bond allows for, in fact, and includes significant resources for surface storage. So if the issue is going to be dams versus no dams, I just want to say that again. Senator Perata's bond allows for, in fact, and includes surface storage. And I hope we can use this hearing. To actually dive into the numbers in both bonds, both Senator Cogdill's and Senator Perata's, to see just how close the parties may actually be, even in thinking that at this point, given the public debate, and that they're not really that close. I hope we can accomplish that by the end of this hearing. Senator Perata?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and members. I want to point out that Senator Margette, who is the vice chair of this committee, is ill and he will not be here today. But I spoke with him moments ago, and he said he will text message the scores from the Yankee game. Also, let me just put everybody's mind at ease. I do not intend to go very long. There are many people here who will speak to you who really know what they're talking about. So I'm just feeling like the referee at the center of the game. We're flipping the coin. Everybody play fair and have a good game. And I just want to thank you for the time that's gone into this. This has been, even though some have not realized, this has been rather a long, arduous process. Most of the people who have any relevant standing in water policy in this state have been active participants in what we've done. If you look at Senator Cogdill's proposal and my proposal, you'll see that there's much commonality between the two. I also want to recognize that people are here today, even though it is a state holiday. People were wondering why I would do that on Columbus Day, and I'd mentioned that in Berkeley it's Indigenous Peoples Day, so I was able to ask people to come in today and serve. This is a real crisis that we're in. We use that word very, very cheaply these days. Everything is a crisis, but we anticipated the decision that the federal court judge made earlier this year. And so in the Senate, we started some bipartisan discussions in the early spring. We gave the governor an update by letter in July. And the reason this came to pass is the judge has acted, and his action underscored the urgency of the problem that we're faced. Like so many other things, water in California and its infrastructure has been neglected, and we've deferred maintenance, as we have with transportation, housing, education, the levees, and we managed with bipartisan support to present the voters with an array of options for investing in the infrastructure last November, and they responded very positively as we now struggle to make sure that the money that they want invested gets invested quickly and to its highest and best use. But we left a couple things on the table, and one of them was water. And that delay, which at the time I thought was necessary, was punctuated by the court's decision, but it certainly was not the beginning of the sentence. We long ago knew that what we should have been doing we hadn't done, so now we're going to have to play catch-up. There are two bills before you. One is basically a restatement of SB 10,002 or 1002. It's on the governor's desk. I hope he signs it. Apparently, the governor believes that he could get more if by delaying signature on that and having a new bill that would have bipartisan support than the one that he has. I don't really view the bill as being partisan. There is money in there that voters approved on 1E and 84, and so they have already given us the authorization we need to appropriate. And it is $611 million. It has a number of strategies to fix the Delta, which supplies drinking water to the overwhelming number of Californians in the state. It also spends money to clean up groundwater supplies, which is immediate use, as Senator Margette calls that, wet water. It's water that's you can get and do right now. You don't have to wait for anything else to happen. I won't go any further than to say that I hope the governor in his wisdom signs that bill. I would not like to have to explain to people why we did nothing after they said we should be doing something, or that this wasn't quite perfect enough, so therefore we're not going to do it. If he signs this bill, regardless of what else happens here in the next few days, we will have taken action on something that the voters underscored was important. If I might, Mr. Chair, I'll just roll into the second bill.
Please.
This is a bond measure that weighs in right now at $6.8 billion. It provides funding for critically needed investments in water supply, reliability, and environmental restoration. It's the second piece of the package, if you will. There's $2.4 billion to restore the Delta environment and in the ecology and to help ensure water supply to Southern California. It provides another $2 billion for regional water supply and allows the Department of Water Resources, the state agency, and local water agencies to decide how to best spend those funds. For the record, if the San Joaquin and Sacramento Valleys want to spend their funds for dams, I don't think anybody's going to stand in their way. It provides $1.4 billion for clean water, groundwater contamination cleanup, water recycling that the water agencies, business groups, and environmental groups agree need to be done. It provides $1 billion for special water challenges from the Klamath River to the Salton Sea. It is a balanced proposal. I will be the first to tell you it's not perfect. I've lived 60-some-odd years, and being perfect has not visited me at any time during my life, and it certainly isn't here today. But this is balanced, and if you have so many dollars to spend and you have to create priorities, these are the priorities that I believe the greatest number of people representing the constituencies of California and the diversity of interest have agreed are the priorities. And it's not to say that other things don't matter, aren't important. It's just to say if we have so many dollars to spend, this is the best way to spend it. Much of the good work that's been done in this state in environmental investment, in natural resource investment, in water investment, has come by way of the initiative. And in its most crude form, people refer to that sometimes as pay to play. You get people together who have specific interests. They raise the money, they get the signatures, they pass the bonds, and then that money is oftentimes is allocated, appropriated through the legislature, but the priorities are set by common agreement among a self-selecting constituency. The difference with this bond is that it has really been put together and with people who have said in our business that we know better than most, these are the priorities. I couldn't possibly contribute anything to this bond if it was left to me to decide. I like drinking water. I like the water to come. And people, when skiers are happy, I'm happy because it means that it's snowing and there's water. But beyond that, my expertise runs out. This is the broadest coalition of interest groups ever assembled in support of a single bond. And it's been done through the legislative process, which means that they all had an ongoing conversation. They were engaged in this process. They disagree. They tried to figure out ways to solve problems. They were eminently helpful. And as I mentioned earlier today, this is the first time that I've ever seen on one stage the Friends of the River and the Metropolitan Water Authority. They were together. They weren't standing next to each other, but what the hell, it was a start. And that's because of the urgency of the issue and the primacy of those priorities that have been selected.